There are not a lot of countries that have made it from middle income level to advanced economies. And none of them have done it, as you've just pointed out, with the size of the inequality that China has, where a large percentage of rural Chinese, for example, don't get to finish high school. China has to address these fundamental challenges because everyone has to contribute for them to do so. Now, of course, China has fared tremendously. Its economy is much, much larger, and they're leaders in electric vehicles and other sectors. But gosh, these are some of the biggest challenges that they've ever faced at a time when the political system is not as flexible as it needs to be to adapt to these challenges.
Right, and at the headline level, given China's economic growth rate, right, there's always that comparison between when China could overtake the US versus China. And do you think that post-pandemic, China would be focused on really fast-tracking in going to the numero uno position, really, globally?
I don't think so. I think what the Chinese now are worried about isn't the size of their economy and overtaking the US, but technology dependence on the West and overcoming that in semiconductors and aerospace and elsewhere. And to achieve those goals, they're actually going to have to spend and waste a significant amount of money to gain some more independence. And that's going to actually, ironically, slow down growth. So China's actually growing faster if it's more interdependent with the rest of the world than the type of technology self-sufficiency that they're trying to achieve right now, primarily for political and security reasons.
Scott, Sam here joining the conversation. We've been speaking a lot in the last year about this dual circulation growth model, and certainly the jury is still out on whether they can actually accomplish that. You did mention just now income distribution. That certainly needs to be improved in order to see spending improve. But certainly, how challenging is it to shift this wealth perhaps from the state to households? And also, just picking up on what you said, what structural changes do you think needs to be maintained or made to actually sustain this growth, particularly when it comes to demographics, because clearly just having 3 kids is not going to solve the problem?
Yeah, well, I have 3 kids, and that solves every problem. So I won't criticize that. But I will say that as China is going to primarily depend on state-led investment for the next decade, most likely, given the way the economy is run. Consumption has not bounced back to the levels that we've seen on the investment side. Even though consumption continues to grow. What you still really need, that goes back to, you need to get folks stronger educations. You need to liberalize the residency system so folks can move around to find the jobs that best fit them. You need to liberalize the media and finance and other services to give people additional ways in which they can spend, and strengthen the healthcare system, which gives people the comfort that they can feel like they can go spend money. But we're still, I think, a ways away from that. And so we all have seen these coming, but they just haven't, it's still a bridge too far.